can share.
Okay, sir. Sir, can you see?
Yeah. So, Kavita, please read it.
What is questionnaire? Psychological questionnaire refers to a device composed of set of questions measuring individual difference in psychological construct. This construct may be of unique or multi-dimensional measure. For example, Spielberger state anxiety questionnaire is unidimensional. All the questions or all the statements are highly correlated with state anxiety. Same is possible for trait anxiety questionnaire. On the other hand, Isaac personality questionnaire EPQ is multidimensional. EPQ measure extraversion, neuroticism, and psychoticism, and all the corresponding items are correlated with corresponding construct.
Etar mane bujhle? That means the questionnaire can be unidimensional or it can be multidimensional. Multidimensional means the construct has been defined from multiple perspectives. For example, now you are
WHO questionnaire, sir.
Yeah. So now you are developing one questionnaire, na?
Yes, sir.
For the pregnancy woman.
Yes, sir.
And it is multidimensional in nature.
Yes, sir.
So each item should be related to the corresponding construct. Construct means abstraction of the concept. Okay.
Yes, sir. Unique dimensional. Only one concept.
That is the only one area that will be assessed by all the items of the questionnaire. For example, Spielberger's state anxiety inventory. So all the items are correlated with the total score. Okay. And if you do the factor analysis, then you will find only one dimension. You will not get more than one factor. Okay. Now read the next one.
Questionnaires are widely used tool in research, surveys, and data collection processes. They serve as a means to gather valuable information and insights from respondents, enabling researchers and organizations to make informed decisions. However, the construction of a well-designed questionnaire requires careful planning and attention to detail. While designing questionnaire measure individual difference with respect to psychological variables, namely personality, intelligence, interest, attitude, abilities, etc. The individual difference may be different types such as inter-individual and intra-group. A good questionnaire follows normative or predictive approach for classification of people. In a case of normative approach, test administrator uses norms, and in predictive approach, regression model is followed.
Okay, now when you want to design the questionnaire, then you have to define the construct carefully so that it can be measurable.
The normative or predictive approach.
Normative approach means where you are following the norm. For example, in case of the intelligence test, we are following the norm. Okay, by the age, that is a norm. We are following the norm. In case of the personality test, we are following the norm. Okay, but in case of the attitude, for example, attitude towards hospital, we are not following the norm. We are following the predictive model. Yeah. For example, we want to find out whether there is any relation between the attitude towards hospital and the hospital effectiveness. So now hospital effectiveness, that will be your criterion variable, and attitude towards hospital, that will be your independent variable.
Which construct is normative approach? How can we know that this is the normative approach?
In case of the norm, we are following the normal probability distribution. The standard score of the normal probability distribution, usually we follow that one. Okay, that is the normative approach. We are converting the data into the raw score to the standard score, and based upon the standard score, we can
do multivariate analysis.
We can convert to the T-score, capital T-score,
Yes,
or
sir.
or the Stein score, or the Stanine score. So there are different type of scoring procedures.
Sir, Z score?
Z score is the standard score. Okay.
Yes, sir. And in predictive approach, sir, this does not follow.
Normative approach, I have told you, and predictive approach, that is whether the attitude towards the hospital is related to the hospital effectiveness. That means patient quality of life, nurses' quality of life, and the doctor's quality of life. So they may be considered as your dependent variable. Or the criterion variable. Now you can draw the regression line, and based upon the regression line, you can assign the individual into different levels, and you can identify That is, who are the people who are on the BSFIT line. That means their attitude towards the hospital and their quality of life. Both are supposed to be high if it is lying on the above side of the BSFIT line. Okay.
Yes, sir.
If it is positively correlated.
And if the data is scattered, sir?
If the data is very much scattered, if it is not on the regression line, that means there is no relationship between the two variables. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Then the regression line will be plus sign. That will not be the single line from bottom to top. Now you did the next thing.
A good questionnaire has several characteristics as standardization, reliability, validity, objectivity, and norms. For example, reading and writing motivation test as standardized instruction, standardized scoring procedure, test, retest reliability and validity, and predictive validity with academic achievement. The test has specific norms based on T-score. Item or statement is the unit of questionnaire. Before designing the questionnaire, one has to choose questionnaire types. For example, Likert scale, ordinal scale, nominal scale, multiple choice, or semantic differential scale. In designing questionnaire, following guidelines are to be followed. Number one, use simple or straightforward language. Avoid jargon, technical terms, or complex sentence structure that might confuse respondents. Keep the questionnaire concise and to the point. Avoid long-winded questions that can lead to respondent fatigue and may result in accurate or incomplete responses. Use per idea per question. Combining multiple ideas can lead to ambiguous or inconsistent responses. Avoid leading or biased questions. Questions should be neutral and unbiased to ensure respondents' answers are not influenced. Use neutral language and avoid phrasing that might away respondents in a particular direction. Pilot testing and revision. Before administering the questionnaire to a large sample, conduct a pilot test with a small group of respondents. This allows you to identify any potential issues such as ambiguous question, confusing responses, options, or problems with flow based on the feedback received. Revise and refine questionnaire to improve its clarity and effectiveness.
That means when you will develop the questionnaire and you are to compare the people based upon the questionnaire, the instruction that will be the same. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And the scoring procedure, that will be also the same. Otherwise, you cannot compare. And the data, that should be reliable. There are two types of reliability. One is the reliability of statistic. Another one is the reliability of test. So whatever the reliability of score you will get, you have to do the one sample t-test. By using one sample t-test, you can find out the confidence interval. Okay.
That
If
this
you
is the
find,
statistical test, sir.
yeah, one sample t-test.
Sir, another test.
Another one is the reliability of test. That is the test retest reliability. That means reliability of test over time. Another one is the internal consistency. So in case of the reliability over time, you have to administer the same questionnaire twice to the same people with minimum 1 week interval. Another one is the internal consistency. That means whether the items, they are measuring the same construct or not. If they are measuring the same construct, then the inter-item correlation, that will be very high. And item variance and total variance, their relation, that will be very high. So if it is 0.8, that means you can tell that is the internal consistency of the items are very good. Next point.
The total variance key, sir. Inter-item.
One side is the inter-item correlation. If the inter-item correlation is high, that means the total score is based upon the item, sum of the item weightage. Okay. Total score is based upon the sum of the item weightage. And when you get the total score variance, that is the standard deviation and the squared standard deviation. That is called the variance. So that variance and the item variance, their relationship, that will be very high. Very high means if it is 0.8, then you can tell that is the internal consistency of the items are very good. So the reliability of with respect to internal consistency is good. Next part is the validity. You have to think, that is whether your test or your questionnaire is valid or not. For that reason, you can correlate your test with other similar tests. For example, trait anxiety inventory of Spielberger that is highly correlated with the neuroticism of Eysenck questionnaire. Okay, because both are measuring the same construct. Another thing, predictive validity. So here the assumption is if individual is highly motivated to read and write, then the academic performance will be high. So when I have studied the correlation between reading and writing motivation with academic achievement, I find the correlation is very high. And it is significant. That means the predictive validity is good. So the reliability, validity is important. Another one is the norm. Norm will be based upon the standard score.
Sir, in case of state anxiety, আপনি বললেন যে দুটো টেস্ট দুটো গ্রুপের উপরে করব, তারপরে তার মধ্যে রিলেশনশিপ, ইন্টার রিলেশনশিপ, কোরিলেশন।
না, একই ইন্ডিভিজুয়ালের উপরে
একই
দুটো
ইন্ডিভিজুয়ালের
টেস্ট
উপর
অ্যাডমিনিস্টার করতে হবে। হ্যাঁ, সেম ইন্ডিভিজুয়ালের উপরে ট্রেট অ্যাংজাইটি ইনভেন্টরি আর আইজেঙ্ক কোশ্চেনিয়ারের নিউরোটিসিজম, এই দুটোই অ্যাডমিনিস্টার করতে হবে। করলে দুটোর মধ্যে হাই কোরিলেশন পাবে। Okay.
Yes, sir.
And after that, you have to collect the large number of data so that the data can show normality distribution. And based upon that, you can develop the norm. By age, by gender, by grade, etc. Okay.
স্যার কি করে করবো স্যার, এর জেন্ডার নর্মস কি করে করবো?
মিন অ্যান্ড এসডি দেখলেই তো বেরোচ্ছে। Mean and standard deviation. So he will get the minimum and the maximum. It is better to do the one sample t-test, and based upon the one sample t-test, you can get the confidence interval, and this confidence interval can be used for your norm. And initially, you have to do some pilot testing. After that, you have to collect the large number of data for the norm establishment. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So this is all about the questionnaire construction. Any more question?
No, sir.
Okay. So now I am closing.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.